Hey traders, it's Greg from Trade90X, and welcome to another Trade90X um, Get Trade Fit 90 Days lesson. This lesson is going to be about what we call, and let me just pull this up. I don't know why it's pulling back, but this lesson is going to be what we call the Trade90X watch list edge refresh. I had done some other watch list edge videos. Now, I wanted to add a few more things to it. Help it even build more of a statistical edge. So as you know, in order to succeed, I don't care any part of trading, you must have a simple, replicable, repeatable strategy that gives you a statistical edge. If you do not have an edge, then why are you trading it? I don't care if you're scalping, day trading, swing, or position trade. It doesn't matter. Now, we have something we've called the Earn the Right to Trade Live process that includes education, backtesting, support, and accountability. That support and accountability, to me, is what is critical. And I'm also going to add, also here health and wellness, and I have a new video coming out that for me, one of the edges is having strong mind, body, and spirit. And again, check that out. Now, what we like to talk about is everything is about process, repetition. Okay, these are the things that set, people apart. And today, when we talk about watch list edge refresh, this can be done on the weekends. This can be done at the close. And what basically we're trying to do is for people in our community that like to trade stocks, it's really honing in on that bullish bearish momentum, but understanding what those edges are. So here is the plan. Number one, you always need to know your numbers. Now, I always give you the numbers. We never hold back, no matter a lesson, whether it's pre-market, post-market, weekend reviews. Even when we do these lessons, our numbers are the following for active trading. So this is for active trading. So let me just put that in, active trading. And again, we never risk more than 0.5 to 2% of our capital per trade, never risk more than 3 to 5% of our capital per session. Our risk versus reward minimums are 2 to 1 to target 1. Okay, and we also like to have defined profit and loss targets that we have within that 3 to 5%. That means that we do not risk more than 3 to 5% in any session. Why? It's about capital preservation. If you know anything about business, you better have your risk money management in order. And that's the first thing I teach you in anything we do here at Trade90X. Without knowing your numbers, there's no way you can be successful in business, trading, and you can never scale up your business. So anybody who doesn't talk about numbers over and over, run. All right, market context. What we're looking for is, do we have obvious bullish or bearish context, or do we have no edge context? If it's not obvious, why are you trading it? And we are constantly looking at things that can help us understand that bullish and bearish context. Again, we need to back test over a body of work to prove our edge. We have to understand our edge setups within a bullish bearish context, those entry, stop, and targets. We journal and review. Now, bullish. So what we look at when it comes to bullish trades, I'm looking at 20-day highs. Okay, and the reason I want that is, I remember, trends don't just fall apart. And when you have a trend moving from higher high, higher low, okay, so remember, bullish trends move from higher highs to higher lows, lower, and I'll show you this on the chart, lower left to upper right. Okay, and again, looking at the 20-day, looking for stocks that are making 20 days highs. These are the scans that we do. 20-day high. I also have a scan for Dow stocks, which I showed you. And then also, if you're a specialist, and I'm more of a specialist, these are the symbols right here that I trade over and over. That means that these are the only symbols that I'm going to look at every day. But this video is about looking for scans. So I typically use the 20-day highs, or the Dow stocks. Today we'll be using the 20-day highs. And then bearish, and these are the bullish, like I said, what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a bullish stock, I'm looking for the S&P to be bullish. I'm looking for the sectors to have an overall bullishness to them. I want to see higher highs, higher lows. I want to see clear, and I'm going to show you this in the chart, so don't worry. I want to see clear momentum into pullback and pause. And then I use a momentum band. I want to see the momentum band sloping up. And then also I want to see price. Also, the day we're going to trade has to be moving above its entry candle. Now, entry candles are bullish engulfings, pin bars or dojis into engulfing and pin bars. Now, that's bullishness. Now, bearishness is I want bearish S&P, bearish sectors. You see a common theme? I want the context to be obvious. I want stocks moving from clear lower high, lower low, upper left to lower right. Okay, this is what we're looking for when we are swing or position trading. Clear momentum into pullback and pauses. Remember those pullback and pauses, I talk about this every morning, are where we look for entries in our bullish or bearish. And I'm looking for a sloping momentum band down. Okay. All right. Next, price must break below the entry candle. Entry candles are, again, red engulfings, shooting star instead of pin bar, and dojis into those engulfing and pin bars. And then the steps, again, we're going to choose our scan, whether you're a specialist with symbols. I'll show you, the Dow stocks or 20-day highs. We're going to check the market context based on the bullish and bearish steps I just showed you. We're going to pick the symbols that fit those bullish bearish criteria and put them into a watch list right here. And then we must get that follow through. If we're bullish, we got to break above the entry candles, bearish, break below. And then we're going to manage the trade to targets 1, 2 to 1, target 2, 3 to 1, or higher. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, hit us up at hello@trade90x.com. All right. So let's go look and see on the chart. So first thing we talked about this is what I'm talking about. So when I look at here, I want to see what the fear and greed index is telling us. All this stuff is by the way I show you. I go through this every morning, every weekend in our Trade90X pre-market, post-market, weekend reviews. And right now, based on what I'm doing today, we see that the sentiment is neutral. Barchart.com, I go to the stock tab, market momentum, and what I'm looking for here is every stock on the market. What's it telling us on the 50-day moving average? It's now starting to move back, and we have more of a bull bias. Okay, here I'm looking at the sectors now. Yearly, the year, half year, and 3 months. That's your main trend. We are bullish. Your short-term trend is going to be your monthly, weekly, day. One day doesn't make a trend, but I will tell you that I would prefer to see all three of these green if I'm going to be taking a swing trade and bullish. And if I'm taking a bearish swing trade, I'd like to see this red. And if these are all red, green, I'm not even interested in a swing trade. All right. Okay. If I don't have clear skies, I'm not interested. All right. Next, here for FinViz, let me just go here. We just looked at sectors. Here is tradingstore.com. As I talk about it every morning, this is the commitment of trader report that comes out every Friday. These are all the key symbols, and this company does a great job for us. And as I mentioned to you, I mostly want to look right at the indices, especially the S&P. And what I'm looking for is, remember, banks, institution, hedge funds control the market, not retail traders. What I'm looking for here is at the time when I'm looking at my trade stocks, I want to see what the overall bias is. And right now, again, I don't care what they tell you on CNBC. I work off fact or fiction. This is telling you that 83% that control the 85% of the order flow in the S&P is bullish for 16%. So remember, this comes out once a week. So the long-term bias, this is what we're looking for swing trades. Okay. All right. So now, if we want to trade the 20-day high, I'll show you this in FinViz. But if you want to do the Dow stocks, stockcharts.com, go to predefined groups. And the reason the Dow is because I keep it simple. This has the top 30 stocks. So let's just say we were bullish. Okay. Now remember, bullishness is lower left to upper right. Bearishness is upper left to lower right. So if we're more bullish, I want to find the stocks that are going to be bullish. Now, what I'm looking for is clear lower left to upper right. So AXP, lower left to upper right. Look at that. See momentum into pullback and pause. Now I'm waiting for a pullback. Okay. I like AXP. What else looks good? No. I want stuff that's clean. Okay, GS. You see this? Look how beautiful that. This is what I was talking about. It has a proven trend. So lower left, upper right, we look for that pause now. All right. So Goldman Sachs, AXP look good. What else looks good? Okay, Coke looks good. Lower left, upper right. So right now for me, PG, Coke, Goldman Sachs, and AXP. So if we were bullish, okay, we'd put this on our watch list. And what I'd be looking for is that day, I want bullish S&P, bullish sectors, okay? And I want to see price move above the entry price that we have right here. If we get those, then that gives us a high probability bullish trade, okay? Now, if we're going to trade FinViz, again, I'm going to go to my screener. I have it pulled in, and I call this right here, the 20-day high-low. And one thing I'm going to add to it, see the change from open? I want to see the stocks that are up. I want to see new highs over the 20 days. This is for bullishness. I want to see stock price over $5. I want to see volume over 2 million. Now, if I don't get enough, I'll do it to 1 million. Okay, country, USA, you can do any if you want. And then if you want ETFs, you can do any. I'm just doing stocks. And then this is what pops up. I got 3 lists. I go to charts. I'm going to take this off. All right, let me just hopefully it'll hold on. I want to try to get this off. Let's see if it's it's not letting me. So what I'm looking for, here it is. All right, so what I'm looking for is, again, which one of the stocks have the most obvious bullish momentum? Lower left, up, right. I'm not interested in shop, okay? I'm not interested in gap ups. Okay, so AEP looks good. So what I do is I look at the ones that have potential, and then what I'm going to do is put them in a watch list, and then I'm going to go to the chart right here. I'm going to go to the chart, and I'm going to start looking. All right, so let me go and let's just see what else is available, and then I'll go to the chart. All right, so we've got right now AEP, okay? So let's go back here. What else looks good that has obvious lower left to upper right, that which I would call really clean? I like this Kava. Momentum had the pullback, double bottom. Now we're moving, and if we get the pause, I do like Kava. So far, I like the most AEP and Kava. I like this one right here. I like CL as well. Lower left to upper right, so that would go on my list. Okay. This CNM, I'm not sure what that is. That looks pretty good. This one's choppy. This FE looks good. All right, so we'll go back. I'm just going to see what chart looks good. Let's see what else looks good. What else looks good? Okay, I don't know what this OBDC is, but that looks good. PEG looks good. RTX looks good. Okay, excellent. All right, so let's go back now and let me show you, because we have more of a bull bias. Okay, so let's go look at some of those stocks and see. Now, again, I'm going to show you. Let me show you the way to do it. All right, so AEP. So the first thing I'm always going to do is, and I'm going to show you how to do this from a one chart view. So if you watch me every morning, we have what's called the Earn the Right to Trade Live one chart view. And this allows me to look at any asset class, any symbols quickly. So we have remember, any strategy must have a statistical edge over a body of work. Okay, check. You must know your numbers. I gave those to you. You must master what bullish and bearish context looks like. We go through that every day. You must master the setups for bullish and bearish momentum. And also, for me, I have a set of tools that are predictive, not lagging. The beauty of the tools I'm going to show you here, they quickly tell us, do we have that bullish momentum or bearish momentum, or we have no edge or range price action. Okay, I only have interest if we have bullish, obvious bullish or bearish momentum for the setup. So right now we are more bullish. So let me tell you what the tools are. The tools right here are the high, low, the yearly high, low in gray. The monthly high, low is in orange. The weekly high, low is in purple. And then the short-term bias right here is the previous day's range, high, low in black, the midpoint in red, the blue is the open, and the dotted line is the previous day's close. Okay, so these tools quickly tell us, are we bullish, bearish, or range and decision. So I'm going to go, let me put this in a 5-minute, just clearly. Let me now show you, now you know the tools. Let me show you the actual setup. So I am only interested in these smaller charts for swing trades if we have clear defined bullish momentum that looks like this. above the previous day's range, like this. And we're going up. That, that is bullish momentum. Or if I was bearish, I want to see price giving us lower highs, lower lows, those momentum into pullback and pauses in the bullish and bearish context. That's what we're looking for. Anything that's in a range tells me it's a range day that buyers or sellers agree on price. And unless price breaks out, I'm not interested in swing trades that day in that symbol. Are we clear? That's what I love about this process. It quickly tells you which ones we're going to trade and not trade. So we go to our list. So now you have the tools, you have the setups. I gave you the numbers. Now let me show you the steps. So step number one is you go to the weekly chart. We're going to break down that main trend. Okay, so AEP looks like it's been trending up. Remember, bearish is upper left to lower right, bullish is lower left to upper right, and now we're trying to retrace back where we are. Right now, we are definitely moving lower left to upper right. Okay, so now what I'm looking at is in this step number one, I take the horizontal line from the weekly and monthly, and I'm looking at areas where price has paused and left the station quickly. Red green candles right here, here. These are areas where price have paused, and I call these decision points. And this is how we trade any one of our right here. And these decision points are extremely important. I do not want to trade into these decision points, but these are extremely important. So right now we're bullish, moving lower left to upper right. We have these key decision points that can be used as targets. Then I move down to anywhere. Now, because it's a stock and there's not overnight, I will move anywhere between, I'll usually move down to about a 5 minute. If I was using futures, I'd be on a 15 to 30 minute. Because it's a stock, I use the 5 minute, and then I squeeze the chart up in step number two. I've got the red decision points in. That's why I color code them red. And then you can see we zoom in and we have our tools. We have the yearly, monthly, weekly, and the previous day's range. And the previous day's range quickly determines. Now you can see in AEP over these last few weeks, we've been in an uptrend based on the smaller time frame. Now I look at the chart and I ask the questions very quickly. Are we above the previous day's range with bullish momentum? Yes, we are. And then if we are, since it's on our bullish stock, we look at the setups. Now, the setups that I look for are clear momentum into pullback and pauses. This was your setup. And the other thing also that I look for is I like to trade off key levels. A key level for me with the previous day's range is right here. We had a momentum break and retest at the open. Now, whenever I have levels right on top of each other, where the open and I create a zone, and then did we get our candle? Yes, we did. That was your setup. That was your A setup. And where was your target? Either 2 to 1, or this is a decision point, a monthly and a yearly. And look what that hit and rejected. So AEP, this is how I would do it every day. Number one, if I'm going to look first, let's go back and review. So the first thing I do is, number one, when we're scanning, I go and I look at the overall market. Right now, the bias is to the bullish side. Two, I can either just use one of the Dow stocks that I like, which I happen to like, the Dow stocks, or we use the 20-day high right here. We use the 20-day high. Again, I want to see price move up at the open. I want it making new highs over the 20 days, over $5, 2 million. USA stocks only, and that day of, I want the S&P bullish and the sectors bullish. Otherwise, I'm not interested. And then, as I talked about in the chart, the stock, if I'm taking a bullish trade, has to have clear bullish momentum above the previous day's range or below. So say I have 6 stocks up. What I'll do is I'll have 6 charts right in front of me. And again, I'm going to do my homework. Remember what we did? We went from the weekly down, because I want to look and see the bigger picture and then into the shorter picture. And then whichever stock gives me the most obvious bullish momentum or bearish momentum, whatever we're trading, okay, then that's the stock I'm going to trade. And AEP was a beautiful stock to trade. All right, let's go look at another one that looked pretty good. Again, I don't want to trade gap up. I don't trade choppy crap. I want it either moving lower left to upper right or not. I talked about Kava. All right, so let's go to Kava next. Okay, remember the market is bullish. So step number one in the earn the right to trade live, one chart's true. Once we have our scan, now remember, these scans can be done on the weekend, or you can do this at the close of every day. We go to the weekly chart. Again, I want to see what's going on in the main trend. And again, your job, whatever time frame we are to look at, are we bullish, bearish, or indecision? Well, the weekly, we're moving lower left to upper right. Where are the areas where price paused, red and green, and took off? Well, right here, and now we're off to the races. Next, I go down to that 5-minute, and if Kava is going to be was on my list Friday, did it give me a trade right here? And I actually like to use a little bit smaller. I like to use like a 2 or 3 minute when I use stocks, 5-minute when I use futures. And you can see right here, we had a momentum break and retest right here. We had a break of the open. So remember, this is a zone right here. Opens above the previous day's range, that tells you we got bullish momentum. That's why I love this earn the right to trade live one chart strategy. We're using our tools and our steps, our numbers, because no matter if your position, swing, scalp, day, it doesn't matter. It quickly tells you, okay, what the bias is. The bias is here. And then if we break above or below, we have those weekly, monthly, yearly indecision points as potential targets. And what happened? We hit the target, and then we went into no edge price action. And by the way, when you're part of the earn the right to trade live, no matter if you're swing trading, scalping, day trading, you're going to basically do hundreds of trades in your repetition and back testing, and you're basically going to be mastering what bullish, bearish, or range setups are. And then you're also going to understand what no edge price action. You see this right here? This is what you call no edge sideways price action. When you see price like that, you're basically boxing the area, and your job is to do nothing. When we're swing trading, we're looking for either those obvious bullish momentum into pause above, or that lower high, lower low momentum into pullback that are obvious below the previous day's range. Are we clear? Excellent. So Kava and AEP so far gave us trades on Friday. Let's go see what other symbol. We said CL. So let's go see CL. And as I talked about, what you're going to do is you're going to have, say you pick out 6 symbols. You're going to have those 6 symbols up in front of you, and your job is, if you go also, I have a video coming out called the horse race view. Basically, I have 6 or 8 symbols on one chart, and all I do is I focus in on the symbol. If I'm swing trading, I'm focusing and I'm bullish, I'm focusing on the symbols that which one gives me the most obvious bullish momentum. If we're bearish, which one has the momentum. If it's in a range, I'm not interested, especially if I'm swing trading. All right, so CL, let's go to the weekly. Step number 1. What's price telling? Well, it looks like we were lower left, upper right. We were in a range, and this is what price does. If it's bullish, it moves from lower left, upper right. It goes into momentum, into pullback or pause, big pause or a range, and now it broke out. Where is the areas closest where price paused and took off? Right here. So we have a decision point. We haven't halted yet. All right, let's go down to a smaller time frame. We have our decision points. We use our tools. And what are the tools telling us? Well, the tools told us that we broke out right here right after 10 o'clock. So look at this. We had a bunch of chop, no edge from yesterday, from Thursday, and then look at that beauty. I mean, these are some beautiful setups. I'm telling you, see, once you learn the earn the right to trade live process, whether you're scalping, day trading, or swing trading, it gives you such an edge. Why? Because you've got specific numbers. Number 2, you got a set of tools that are predictive, not lagging, that help you with your bullish momentum, swing trades, bearish momentum, swing trades, or helps us with our day trading. It basically it tells you, and again, if it's not obvious, then why why you're not taking it. Again, above, and we have obvious bullish momentum, we've got beautiful bullish trades. Below the previous day's range, if we're making those lower highs, lower lows, we've got beautiful bearish trades. And then, of course, if you've been watching my pre-market weekends with our scalping and so on and day trading, you then know our inside the range trades. But this was a beautiful engulfing trade. Momentum into pullback and pause. Here was your other setup right here. These are the setups right here. And where did it go? It went to your yearly and monthly level and then rejected. I mean, you can't ask for a better scenario. All right, so let's go to the next symbol. So you see what I'm getting at? And again, what I'm looking at is only the symbols that are obvious. Now, FE looks good. So let's put in FE. Again, it's rinse and repeat. Let's go to that weekly chart. Okay, a little bit choppier here. So we can see kind of choppy here. And where were the areas? This was the last area where red and green candle, and then look left. We had right here and here. All right, so these are the last three levels. So I don't want to trade into these levels. So not a lot of space to there. Let's go to the 3 minutes, see what's happening. So we don't have a lot of space. So this is one I probably would have skipped. Not a great setup. And again, this is what you do. You go through the symbols. All right, let's go see what else. Again, I'm going through as many of these can so I can get it for you. Let's see. This one's coming into, so we got to get above that. I like this right here, this OBDC. What is that? I don't even know what the hell that is, but okay. It has the volume. Yep. All right, let's go to the weekly. Make sure we understand what's going on. And this one's kind of gone parabolic. So right here. All right. So here were the last areas where price paused, red and green candle, and then price took off. We call those decision points that come from the monthly and weekly. Because we're trading a stock, I'm usually going to go anywhere between 1 and 5 minute. And then we ask the questions. Remember, we have a bullish context. That's why I'm looking at bullish stocks. I have no interest in looking at bearish stocks if the context is not bearish. Okay. So here we also had some very nice setups. Some very nice setups right there. Beautiful setups. Now this one took a little time, but definitely this one definitely worked. All right, what else do we got here? We've got, again, I only want the best. Let's go. Peg looks good. All right, let's go put in peg again. And again, the nice thing about these levels, you're doing your homework before, and you're having these on one chart. So you're going to, if we're bullish and you have the top 6 symbols on one chart, you are going to look and see which one has the clearest bullish momentum setups. All right, so now what's going on? We're moving lower left up right. Here is the last area. We've already broken out here. See, we're right here. We broke out already, so we'll put that there. We already broke out. And now let's go down to our 3 minute. And you ask the questions. So when we came in, we're doing, when the market opened up, where did price, look at that. You came back in, rejected right there. There was your setup, and you hit your yearly and monthly target. Nothing else to do. And then it went into no edge price action all day. Okay, nice setup. All right, let's see if there was any other ones. RTX looks good, and PPL looks good. Let's go to RTX. Again, rinse and repeat. All right, I go to that weekly. All right, we can see we're moving lower left to upper right. Where were the areas where we had the red green candles? Right here and here, most recent ones. Now let's go down to that 3 minute. We use our tools. We have our decision points in, and we can see when we squeeze the chart up that this whole week has kind of been bullish. And then looking at the tools, what happened? Beautiful setups right here. Multiple rejection. Now, what I probably would have done is I would have made a zone here because the open is right here. So as soon as we got that break and retest right here, now this one you would have had to wait a while, but that was a beauty. Where was the target? Up at the yearly and monthly. No wonder. I mean, you can't ask for a better setup. Sometimes you got to stay patient. All right, let me see what else we had. RTX, let me see, last page. WFC looks pretty good. All right, let's go look at WFC. Again, you can do this. You can scan on the weekends, or you can literally do the scan at the close of each day and then go through that same routine, put them on the watch list. You're going to go through right here. You're going to go to the weekly. You're going to look, squeeze the chart up, make sure there's nothing there. And you can see we've had a lot of consolidation. Now it's breaking out. And then where are the areas where price is paused and taken off? Here and here. These two areas right here. And let's go to our 3-minute. Squeeze the chart up for the last few weeks. And we can see price was bullish, came back in. It was just a pullback, and then it was bullish for the week. And then, of course, using the tools, we are above the previous day's range. We'll make a zone out of this open and previous day's range high, and beautiful setup right there. Look at that. Beautiful momentum break. You got the engulfing, and then you got your target right there. And also very nice setup. All right, cool. Let me see if there was anything on the Dow we talked about that looked really good. AXP, Coke looked good. What was the other one? I think Goldman Sachs. All right, let's look at those two and then we'll finish up. All right, so Coke, I hope you're getting, because I want to make sure you get this. So Coke, again, go to the weekly. Again, remember, we're looking at bullish stocks because the context, the data, and the bigger charts are telling us. So Coke is been in a range. It's been in a range right here. And we're just starting to break out. We rejected right here. Okay, so definitely was a nice trade off 57. And now we need to see, do we fail or break above? Right now, if we're looking for a new trade, we need to wait. So let's see what the tools told us. Let's put that right there. There's your yearly with a decision point. Now, what were the tools? So we had two setups actually. These were, again, these are scalp and day trades. These are not swing trades, just so you know. But this definitely would have worked out nicely. And then as soon as we got the rejection, you definitely were out of your trade. All right, so let's see. What was the other one? Goldman Sachs. All right, let's go to the weekly. All right. We're moving lower left to right. We're bullish. These were the last areas where price paused, break and retest, paused, and broke out. All right, let's go to that 3-minute. And what was the market telling you? We failed. So basically it went sideways here, hit the monthly, yearly, and then we went back into the range. No setup for Goldman Sachs. So again, the beauty of this process is it allows us to quickly look at any symbol. And again, I showed you the one chart view just using this. But again, it allows us to look at the bigger picture to see, do we have that obvious bullish momentum? Because we're trading bullish stocks. If it doesn't have bullish momentum, why are you trading it? And then we can use our shorter term tools to help determine which one has the best opportunity for a bullish momentum trade. I have no interest in a swing trade if it doesn't have that momentum above the previous day's range. Now, if we're doing bearish stocks, now remember, we still have more of a bull bias. It's the same thing. We're just going to change this scan from up to down. That means stocks that are open from down, and then stocks have a new low. That means over the last 20 days, they've had a new low. So here, let's see if there, but here's the thing. Right now, there's more of a bull bias, but I'll just show you what we're looking for is if we're bearish, and again, you don't see that many, but what we're looking for is obvious stocks that are moving from upper left to lower right. So let's just see fold. Now, this would be counter trend, but again, I just want to show you what is possible. So fold, I'm going to go to the weekly to see what the trend is. I want to make sure. And we can see that this stock has been kind of range bound. You can just see sideways range. Now it has now started to break. So let's see what we got here. Decision point here and here. These were the last two areas here where price paused, and then the last area looking left was right here where it took off. All right, so let's go look at the 3-minute. We have our decision points in. We know those are important. What did price tell us? Did it have, see, remember, if it doesn't do this, I'm not interested. If it didn't, see, it didn't give us that lower high, lower low. And remember, whenever you have levels that are so close to the previous day's high and low, we turn these into zones. So I would have no interest in a bearish swing trade until it did this. All right, let me see if there's one more. And again, remember, we don't have the momentum going for us overall in the market. I don't do gaps like that. What is this? WBA. All right, let's just look at WBA. I'll do this last one. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the weekly, make sure. All right, so this has definitely been bearish, no doubt. You can see upper left to lower right. Where are the areas? Let me put in the decision points where price paused recently. Here and here. Okay, let's go down to the 3-minute. Use the tools. And this was a range day, basically. If you wanted to trade this as a scalp trade, you could have. But again, for bearish swing trades, we want to see price doing lower high, lower lows below the previous day's range. For bullish stocks, we want to see higher highs, higher lows, clear momentum into pullback and pause above the previous day's range. All right, so let me just also do SPY, because one of the things that we want to do is we want to look at the S&P before we do anything. So again, I'm going to go to the weekly. Again, we're moving lower left to upper right. Where were the last areas where price paused? Here and here. We're now retesting the highs. I don't want to trade into these levels. And then, of course, if we broke down below here, so these are my most important decision points that come from that weekly, monthly. Let's go down to our smaller time frame. And using the tools, what do we see? So the S&P opened, it gapped up. Remember, gap up, it was bullish candle, but look what happened. We rejected at the monthly and the open, and then basically, so again, if we were looking for the bullish trade, then we wanted to start seeing this, and we didn't get it. So S&P really did not give us a very strong, didn't give us a strong trade. On Thursday it did, though. That's a beauty. So let's review what we talked about. So number one, I'm always looking at data and the charts to understand who has control. Right now, the fear and greed is kind of neutral. The 50-day moving average, all the stocks are above the 50%, more bullish. Again, the long-term trend is bullish. Short-term has more of a bull bias. Looking at here, the commitment to trade report, long-term to the bulls. And then, of course, here on, let me just go here on FinViz right here. We know that the data, the short term has more of a bull bias. And then right here, we did the actual screener. Since we're bullish, we're going to use change open from up. And again, the reason I like using the 20-day high low, because that proves to me that there's a trend in place. And then we went through the bullish symbols. Okay, and we went to the chart and I showed you how to use the Earn the Right to Trade Live one chart view strategy. Again, I gave you the numbers, I explained the tools, and I explained the setups. And again, I'm going to the weekly to make sure I understand the main trend. We're lower left to upper right. Then I look at the areas where we have the most obvious red and green candles where price took off. And this comes from the weekly and monthly chart. And I call these decision points. I color code them in red. Now, I'll go anywhere from a 1 to 30-minute chart. But since we're trading a stock, I just literally move right down here to a 3-minute. So then we can determine, Do we have an obvious bullish momentum trade above the previous day's range high, or an obvious bearish? Remember, we were looking for bullish trades, so the symbols that I would be looking at have to have higher highs, higher lows. Otherwise, I'm not interested, because we're looking for swing trades. Are we clear? And remember, these scans can be done for on the weekends or at the close each day to find your best symbol. So this is what I call, again, our Trade90X watch edge refresh, just making sure I added a few more things that show you how we give an edge. And again, the scans that we use are the 20-day highs or the 20-day lows. 20 days highs for bullish, 20-day highs for bearish. Dow stocks using here, stockcharts.com, gives you the top 30 stocks in the Dow, and this can quickly determine, again, if I'm bullish, I'm looking for the bullish stocks. If I'm bearish, I'm looking for bearish stocks. Or we can look for being a specialist, where here are the symbols. Me personally, I like to trade these symbols over and over for my swing trades. That I like to trade over and over. These are the symbols I prefer looking at the same symbols over and over. I get to know those symbols, and we also recommend that. But again, we have people that like to scan, so I recommend looking at the Dow, or again, looking at FinViz stock screener. And again, here are, make sure you screenshot this. Again, I showed you the bullish and bearish, okay? And then again, once we find the symbols, we go to the chart, and then using the Trade90X Earn the Right to Trade Live one chart view, I show you again with our numbers, our tools, the actual steps, the setups, and then you can quickly then look to see and create. As I mentioned, go check out on our YouTube channel, Trading View. It should be up this week, our horse race view video, which shows you how, where we put in, say, 6 or 8 symbols that we trade over and over, or the ones that we find in our scans. And our job is using the tools, if I'm bullish, to focus on the stock that gives us the most obvious bullish momentum trade. If I'm bearish, which one gives us the most obvious bearish momentum trade below the previous day's range? Because remember, on swing trades, I'm only interested for those obvious bullish and bearish momentum above the range, or bearish momentum below. Are we clear? Excellent. Okay, good. And make sure you snapshot this right here. And if you have any questions, hit us up at hello@trade90x.com, because like I said, this process is awesome for, like I said, looking for those swing or longer term trades using our strategy. Okay, again, make sure you share this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up when it's up on YouTube. Again, the more likes and thumbs up we get, helps us with the algorithm, and then it will also show this that you want us to make more videos. All right, awesome. So I hope you got some value out of that, and I look forward to see you in our next lesson.